functionality now with either iPhone or Android where they can answer calls, even call center calls, and manage calls. Now, I use this and I couldn't live without it, but we're a low-volume call center. I'm not sure I would use my mobile phone if I had a high-volume call center. However, it could be done. And then finally, you can use Wi-Fi or deck phones if you're moving around the office. In addition, maybe in lieu of using a static hard phone, they can use a Wi-Fi or deck phone if that makes sense to your organization. So really what I want to emphasize is you got lots of choices of what to front end our call center with. Of course, when you use our Mixi UC client, that's where all the magic occurs, and that's what we're going to go through right now. So I'm logged into Mixi in a call group. Actually, I'm logged into two Mixis, and I'm going to show you another one because this one has actually a call simulator on it. We can generate traffic and show you calls, volume calls as they're coming in and out. So a couple concepts of Mixi. Right now, I'm bound to soft phone, meaning that I don't even need a physical hard phone. I just need a good USB headset. Could be wired, could be wireless. It doesn't make a difference. If it's a Plantronics headset, we're compatible with their SDK, meaning that even if I have a wireless headset and my phone rings, I hear it ringing through the headset, I might be away from my desk, I can click the headset and actually answer the telephone. If you have our hard phone and you have a compatible headset, you have that functionality as well. Now, for people that come into the same office and function the same way, there's a function called binding where you can toggle this. But again, if you're this person that comes into an office and sits at the same desk and your day comprises of the same functions, you set this once up and you forget it. But if you're somebody that moves around or maybe works from home or moves between offices, you can change what your phone is. So you're not glued to your desk to have to operate in the call center. You can be an agent working from home. You can be remote. I flew out to our Sydney, Australia office, and they put me in a conference room, and I used the function of bind by call from device. I picked up that phone and I entered a code that the system gave me, and I was on the system just like I was in my office in Sunnyvale. I could answer call center calls. It didn't make a difference. So binding takes you as a user or an agent and positions you in some other location or allows you to change your location. Again, for people that are static, you set this once and you never have to deal with it. But right now I'm bound to soft phone. So all my calls are going to be emanating through soft phone. I also have presence where I can see the presence availability of my colleagues and I can change my presence. So here's a list of my buddies. I've created a buddy list, which is a subset of the overall phone system directory. And I can see my colleagues and their status on the call group as well. But right now I'm only logged in and my role is Dennis Moran. So I'm not participating in any call groups. I have to go ahead and log into those groups. And through administrative rights, I'm either given the role of an agent or a supervisor. So I'm going to go ahead and just log. I can log into multiple groups. In fact, I can log into up to 16 queues at one time if I wanted to. But for this, so keeping things simple so you can kind of grasp and understand the basic concepts of what we offer, I'm going to log into this one group called RenB Sales. Now you're going to see a series of things that changed once I logged in. One, you're going to see that I've got this IM toaster pop-up. Could you see that on your display over there, folks?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that's going to be critical because Zultys understands that you're going to have your order entry systems, other applications that are going to be more pertinent or as pertinent is managing your phone calls, and yet you're going to have those up front and center, but yet you're going to need to know when calls come in. So those toaster pop-ups are going to do just that. They're going to let you know that a call's coming in and you can actually answer. So I'm going to go ahead and answer from the toaster pop-up. I can pick up my phone. I can click my headset button, but just to show you, I'm going to answer from the headset. Now, excuse me, from the pop-up there. My toaster pop. So now I'm engaged, and I'm a supervisor in RenB Sales, but as a supervisor, I can also participate as an agent. I don't have to, but I can. It's optional.
That's what
and now I'm taking a call. I've taken a call, and you're going to see there's a lot of stuff going on here. One, you mentioned callbacks. So these callbacks will be indicators within. It will tell you how many callbacks that you have available or are waiting for you, and you can click on these callbacks, and they will pop up and allow you to dial these parties back. You'll also see that there's CAD embedded here, and the CAD will allow you to input information. Now, CAD is it's a free service, or a free function, I should say, within the MX. In its basic form, it takes all of 15 minutes to set up, but CAD can get very in-depth or entailed. Let's talk a little bit about CAD. So here it's just a digital Post-it note, so I can make notes. Who's calling me? It's ABC Company. And who's the contact? It's Joe Smith. And what's the nature of the call? And I can make another note here. Here I happen to have some pull downs that I created. It's a new system. Is there any follow-up required? Yes. Then I can say, need to forward to Lenny and discuss later. So as the name implies, call attached data will, the information in this that I'm capturing right here will attach to the phone call, meaning that as I transfer this call downstream, anybody else that I've been given CAD rights to will get it. Now, we can do things with IVR, too. We can interface CAD with IVR. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. There's going to be an IVR setup, which will require a web server that's going to be a data point from your data and our phone system. So the MX, when based on the inbound call, maybe we're looking at the caller ID and we're grabbing some information from your database and presenting it to the agents in the form of call attached data. So there's many different applications for CAD. You can use it many ways. Again, in its basic form, to capture data and to send that data downstream is very simple. If you want to access a phone number and pull information and present it to agents in the form of scripts or where they are in terms of the hierarchy of your customers, and this is the number 3 sales company, this is what they ordered last time. Many people have that kind of stuff in their CRM and they don't want to duplicate it, but the point is CAD is the applications are unlimited, and it's however it works for your company. Now, if I do not want to participate as a call center agent, I just need to come up into my presence, which right now I'm in a wrap-up mode, and I'm gonna make myself not available in this group. So now the system will not deliver calls to me. So what I can do here is when calls are not available to me, or when they're not available to me, then I'm just acting in a supervisor role. And as a supervisor, I have access to SuperView. And in SuperView, I've got an enterprise class dashboard that gives me access to one or multiple queues. Now, right. I've collapsed these. Question?
Yeah, Dennis, one sec. So the wallboards you have up that I took a look at, on the top you were streaming data like a ticker tape, which was group status stuff, right? Correct. Calls it real-time group status. And then below you had fixed windows, which was agent stuff, correct? Yes. Like specific agents, of which you can get almost all that here. Okay. Right? So just, okay, Dennis, sorry.
And Dennis, if you're unavailable for a group, that doesn't make you unavailable for intercom calls from other people, right?
Great question. That is a correct statement, because I have 2 roles that I'm logged in at. I have my role as Dennis Moran for my personal calls and my role as a supervisor in the RNB sales group. Yeah. So you can see I can adjust my presence for either one, either globally, meaning for both of them, or specifically for the role. If I'm clicked in this role, you see here right now this bar is highlighted. I'm clicked in here. So now it's going to toggle my availability for this role. So I can do it globally or for the specific role. So now I'm not available for supervisor calls. Now if I click on my personal extension number, my personal role, you'll see I have another set. Again, I got the global setting that will set it for both, but I have more granular settings that I have within my environment here.
Can those be edited?
They can't be edited today. You can have a note, right? So, which we'll talk about. But in a future release, we're going to have more customized presences. Right?
Oh, correct. Yeah. Yeah. So not only can I say available, I could say managing queue calls. So everybody knows that even though I'm available, I'm managing queue calls. If you look at my actual Mixie, you're going to see here what I have is I'm on the phone right now. It's showing my real-time presence. I'm also in a meeting, too, and I have in a demo with our value partner, PTI. Now, all of my other colleagues can see this. This is actually my production Mixie.
Okay.
And so, and also in addition, my call handling rules are tied to my presence. So in respect of our time here, if anybody calls me while my presence is set to in a meeting, I have my call handling rules set that it will, let me just show you really quick. I have my call handling rules set that when I've got a bunch of them, I've got a couple toggled, but whenever I'm not available or in a meeting, I go right to my voicemail into my greeting, I'm away from my desk.
Right, so there's called rules that you can set up based on the user aptitude, as we talked about before. Some will use it, some may not. But for the real technological users that want to route their calls based on a certain status, or if, like Dennis said, if he's in, like when I'm in a meeting, all my calls go to voicemail. But if you're in a meeting, you may want all calls to go to voicemail, but your top 2 customers get through to you, or whatever. It gets really granular, and you can program it as you like.
Okay.
Now, also keep in mind, those only tie into my personal roll calls.
Right.
They don't tie into my group roll calls. You as the supervisor will define who and when they get those calls. They cannot avoid those calls. They can avoid their personal calls by changing their presence and doing these things if you allow them to. Like Len said, these features we can allow the users to do themselves, or we can push it down back to admin UI where it can only be done in management. That's something very unique in Zultys. It depends on your staff and how your environment is. Sometimes, like our group, we were a bunch of very intelligent people, for lack of a better expression, that know how to manage ourselves.
They're humble.
We don't need managers beating us up on what we need to do. So we've been given rights to toggle these things. However, if you've got a bunch of slack-jawed 18-year-olds that are trying to hack the system and watching Lost and avoid calls and all of that, then you might want to lock it down more and push that stuff back to admin UI.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So all available to you there. But again, what happens in the group calls is not necessarily determined. They have some basic not available and available functions. They get a wrap-up timer. You can allow them to set up the time in between calls, i.e. the wrap-up time, or you can define that yourself and lock it down. Again, it's very malleable in how you structure the overall management of your call center. But let's get back to SuperView.
Mm-hmm.
So now in SuperView, I have my actual call center. So I've got a bunch of agents right now that are a wrap-up. I'm the supervisor. Here's a couple calls that are queued up waiting to get answered. So here is my overall status of the call center. Here's the status of my agents, and here's my call as they're queued and answered. Let's start with queued calls. I'm going to right-click on this, and we can prioritize a call before it even is answered. So I can, first of all, I can prioritize the call ahead of time before it even gets into the queue, however you want to do it, based on gold, silver, bronze levels, based on caller ID, based on all these variables. And if you have that application, let us know. Sometimes it requires,
and it can be totally customized.
It's included free of charge. Sometimes it requires licensing and IVR, meaning if you want us to do a database lookup that says, go look at this data, and based on the information you see, prioritize the call, then we're going to require IVR. But if you just do it based on, DID numbers, in other words, you have a gold line, a silver line, a bronze published number, we can prioritize those calls. But once the calls get into the queue and you want to reprioritize them in real time, you can do that. We can set values of the prioritization, with 1 being lowest and 10 being highest.
Okay, so you're saying that we can set numbers to be a priority whenever they call in?
Absolutely.
And then
they're automatically gold. Those numbers are gold people. They're going to be shoot at the front of the line.
Okay, and then you're also saying that as these calls are sitting in the queue, we can prioritize them there as well?
Supervisor.
Right.
Manually.
Or reprioritize them. Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, then in addition, you can answer a call. Just pull any call out of queue.
Oh, okay.
Just grab it. You can
like you know
assign
who it is.
Let's say
I'm going
one
to get
of your
him out of there.
agents is on a call currently, and you want to assign it to a specific agent, or even if they're off the call, we'll go directly to them. But if they're on a call, it will assign the call and wait for that agent to hang up on their current call and then give it to that agent. Now, you can define the timeout, how long you allow that person to queue up waiting for that call. If that timeout's exceeded, we'll go ahead and place that call back in queue, and we'll place it with a priority of 8 so they don't have to go to the beginning of the line.
Okay, so would that, as soon as they got off of their current phone call, if you prioritize that to a specific agent, would it allow that agent their wrap-up time, or would it automatically divvy that to the...
It would wait for the wrap-up time, then it would deliver their call.
Okay.
This right here would replace what you have on the screen.
You might want to route a call out and go directly to voicemail, or just go to a voicemail greeting, or just transfer it out of the queue altogether.
Okay.
So this is all happening in real time. You're seeing these values increment in front of you and happening in real time. So those are calls as you're queuing. Now for your agents, you can right-click on an agent and log an agent in and out. You can barge in on a call, meaning you're essentially creating an instant conference call where both your agent and the party they're speaking to are conferenced.
Yes.
Now, if they do that, Dennis, does the agent know it?
In barge in, yes. In silent monitor, no. That's the next one down.
Okay.
Silent monitor, the supervisor's listening and nobody knows the difference.
So if they're silent monitoring, can they record that call?
Who's they?
The supervisor.
Yes. Now that call could be set up to be recorded all the time.
They're going to record all phone calls, but this would also be one that they just want to listen to right now. Play it back in 5 minutes. Bring the guy in their office and say, "Look, you did this. You should have done this."
Well, it's already been happening. So you either have it recorded all full time, or you have, which is how mine's set up. This is why it's grayed out. So, or it's set up where you do it on demand. So the choice is yours. Regardless of however you do it, it's going to be available to you, and you'll be able to view it here via your Mixi by going View Auto Call Records.
Do they ever say, "Look, I'm going to bring my supervisor in"?
Usually that's when they transfer the call, but it would be great for training purposes.
Because people could say, "Look, I want your supervisor. Hold on, let me bring him in. You come in, not silent, but you come in and say, I'm on the phone. We could do something." You could be on the phone with the agent and the person.
That would, for training, that would be great.
Yeah.
Because they're sitting there together and the customer knows. But whisper, is that where we're speaking to the agent but the customer cannot hear?
That's absolutely correct. Now, believe it or not, once people use our UC system, they typically prefer to use IM over whisper through, because if you've ever had two people speaking in each one of your ears, it's not the easiest thing to do.
Right.
Instant message is a silent whisper through that works really good. It's much easier for you to be monitoring and having an IM session with your agent than speaking to than concentrating on the conversation and listening to two different conversations.
Yeah, I agree.
So some other things, I can log agents in and out. I can barge in, silent monitor, whisper through. Again, whisper through. My agent can hear me, but the far end person they're speaking through cannot. So it is available if you want to do it that way. And again, you initiate a call recording. Once a call recording is in process or has been done, view call recording.